Today we're going to talk about what we did in 2018 at Win911 and things that are coming up in the future. So let's start it. So for the agenda, we're going to talk about version 7 versus the standard, interactive, and advanced. We'll do a product comparison between them. We'll talk about the Win911 SCADA updates, specifically on the AVEVA SCADA and everything that is under them, which is Wonderware InTouch, System Platform, and InTouch Edge HMI, which used to be InTouch ME. We'll also talk a little bit about what's coming soon, Win911 mobile app, and we'll touch on technical resources, technical support updates, and we'll actually have some time for Q&A. With that, let's start it off. All right, really quick. There is reference materials. This is going to be recorded, and we'll have it in the webinar section and the YouTube section as well. With that in mind, we'll go ahead and start the product comparison. All right. So a lot of our customers have Win911 version 7, and a lot of them have the Pro version. So what is the difference between Win911 version 7 with the new standard, interactive, and advanced? On the left-hand side, we have the comparison. One of the differences is that we have a runtime all the time with the new software. So you're no longer required to save configuration, shut down Win911, and restart it. The other thing is supports the latest notification methods, such as voice over IP, smartphone apps, and then we now have the new Ethernet SMS modem. Another thing that I think is very important to mention is that we support alarm subscriptions. So filter subscriptions are now used with any direct connects supported by our new code base. You guys can find what are the different direct connects at the bottom of the right-hand side, right over here. We'll talk about schedules. How are some of the schedules different between the version 7 to the new version? We'll talk about the advanced escalation, which is very new for us in the Win911 Advanced. Browse-based configuration. Before it used to be in the local machine. Now it can be beyond the local machine, and the new code base now has 9 different languages for localization, meaning the software is going to be able to be on one of the languages. With that, let's really talk about what a direct connection means to us and how it would benefit you, right? So Win911 has a direct connect with InTouch. We are using alarm toolkits and sweet links to be able to create that connection. That connection is able to do multiple InTouch applications through nodes and remote connections in InTouch. Anything else to add?
I think it's just generally a degree of integration that's just not there with things like OPCDA. Talking with those native toolkits, we're able to get all of the information that's already configured in the SCADA package, so you don't have to reconfigure it on our side, and then the acknowledgements pass all the way back into the SCADA, so it's tightly integrated.
Great, thanks. One of the things that differentiate us to OPCs is that we have subscription filters. So we're able to, in this case, in InTouch, we're able to filter by tag name, by group, and priority. So the advantages of having the direct connects is it dynamically receives new alarms. Alarms are maintained within the SCADA, in this case is InTouch, versus being maintained on Win911, and the acknowledgements are seamless. So let me give you an example of how an acknowledgement can be seamless. If the InTouch alarm tag goes out, it sends it to Win911, and then you're able to pick one of the different notifiers. A lot of customers use text, so we'll go with that. We send out the text. You're able to send it to the customer, and the customer is able to reply. That reply will be back to Win911, and it actually is back to the SCADA. So hopefully you guys have a pretty good understanding of how the acknowledgements are seamless now.
And these subscription filters, these are new for the new product, Standard Interactive Advanced. So previously we had an InTouch Direct Connect with version 7, but subscription filtering was not possible. With the new product, we've tried to support subscription filters wherever possible. These are very powerful. They save a lot of time. Instead of sitting through a long, drawn-out import process, you're instead able to tell us the specific groups, its specific priority range that you'd like Win911 to monitor, and we can quickly and easily sync up and get that information from InTouch.
Thanks. So we'll talk about System Platform. So Win911 has the Direct Connect with System Platform. We're able to filter with attribute names, area names, and priorities. The same things apply here. The Direct Connect advantages is no alarm configures in Win911. They dynamically receive the new alarms, and the acknowledgements are seamless.
Right, so because we're doing this subscription filter, if you add new alarms to your Galaxy, or you change the organization of the alarms within your Galaxy, you don't have to redo your configuration of Win911. You've already told us you're interested in these high priority things, or you're interested in these specific areas, and as new objects get brought into those areas, we'll automatically bring those into Win911.
And last but not least, we're going to talk about InTouch Edge HMI. Now, as you guys probably know, this was called InTouch ME, now rebranded to InTouch Edge. We have a connection via TCP server, which allows for connections with multiple local and remote web studios projects. We still are able to do alarm subscriptions, filter alarms in real time using alarm properties, such as all groups, all messages, tag names, and once again, we talked about priorities. Alarm import, you're able to import tags and alarms for reporting and custom alarm descriptions.
Right, so that's an important subtlety. In addition to these subscriptions, a lot of sources still support an import process, but rather than use that import process for all of your alarms, our intention is for you to use that really just for the particular data points you're interested in doing reporting with. So you can set up all of your subscriptions to handle the alarms, and then these 200 or 100 different points that you'd like to include in your reporting, you can import those specifically.
Thanks. All right, so Cody, tell us a little bit more about the scheduling, the differences between version 7 and the new Standard Interactive and Advanced.
Sure. So the scheduling in version 7 was rather primitive. It didn't span day boundaries. If you wanted to set up an appointment that was perhaps a late shift that went from 10 p.m. one night into 6 a.m. the following morning, you had to do that as two different schedules, and it was a bit kludgy. What we've got now is a standard sort of calendar interface. We're very aware of the day of the week, the week of the year, and you're able to see a calendar interface that looks very familiar to you if you're used to products like Outlook or Google Calendar. We have full support for all of the advanced recurrent schedules that version 7 users have been asking for, things like I want every other Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, or I want every 15th of the month for some schedule. Another key difference from version 7 is the way we've reorganized the phone book. So in version 7, you had individual connections, like an email address or a phone number that belonged to a phone book entry. So here I've got Tom Jones and Wayne Smith. So that value Tom Jones actually is a container for Tom Jones email and Tom Jones voice and Tom Jones mobile app. And in the group definition in version 7, you placed Tom Jones in the list. And what you were really doing was placing all of those connections that belong to Tom Jones here in that list. But we didn't give you a degree of granularity. And so because of that, if you wanted Tom Jones' individual email address, you would need to create an entry in the phone book that was something like Tom Jones email and just put just the email under that, and Tom Jones voice and put just the voice connection for Tom Jones under that. So the new product supports the same basic structure of a contact list that we found in the group, but it's down to the individual connection. So this is Tom Jones' voice connection as opposed to his email or his mobile 911. And I can place those individual connections into the list. I still have all the capabilities of delay before notification that let local operators deal with the alarm. I have repeats and retries, delays after each entry. So very familiar interface for the users coming from version 7. And this is available across all tiers of the standard, interactive, and advanced products. Now that group callout list is really part of a basic strategy. And in the new product, we use these strategies to guide and dictate what behavior you're interested in taking place whenever an alarm life cycle begins to unfold. So as an alarm goes active, what callout list are you interested in orchestrating? What callout list would you like to start? When would you like to stop them? With version 7, we had a lot of that hard-coded, and now we've opened that up. We've been more flexible. So you see you have full control over when you want the stop condition. If you want to stop notification when the alarm becomes terminal, or would you rather stop when the alarm goes inactive or once the alarm becomes acknowledged? You have control over that now, whereas you didn't in version 7. Also, the ability to re-notify. So re-notification is a simplification for alerting everyone who's received previous notification. So if you have a large call-out list and you got 3 people down that list, re-notify is going to notify those 3 people, no one else. So new to the advanced tier, we have what we call advanced tactics and advanced strategies. So these go beyond the simple call-out list. Here we see a notification workflow. We have these conditional branches to the logic where we're asking, is this alarm a water treatment plant storage tank alarm? If it's not, then we'll just go ahead and end this logic. If it is, let's go see if it's high severity or not. If it's above 750 severity, then we will contact the operators and the managers. If it's low severity, then we'll wait 10 minutes to give someone on site a chance to deal with the alarm before we call just the operators. So this is a drag and drop workflow interface that we've created for the advanced tier of the product. And it allows, as you see here, role-based notifications. So instead of naming a specific email connection or a specific mobile connection, I can use roles to tag those individual connections, and then I can define my notification logic in terms of those roles.
So Cody, instead of before having, Cody and Arish as a person to notify, now we can say, an operator and a manager. Will that be right?
Yeah, you can. And you can use labels to represent a person. So I could certainly tag all of your connections within a Arish role and then contact them just the same way with this workflow. But what that really allows you to do is that as an organization, when people are coming and people are going, people are changing roles within the organization, I don't have to revisit this escalation logic. Instead, I've defined everything in terms of roles, and so I just go to the connections and make sure I've updated those with people's new roles or as new people come on board. And none of this has to change.
Now, this is only available at the advanced license, is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, both advanced tactics and advanced strategies are part of the advanced product.
Okay.
So bringing it all together, alarms trigger these strategies, and the strategies are the set of policy that says when we should start tactics and when we should stop them and when we should perform re-notification. And then tactics are those simple call-out lists or those advanced workflows if you happen to be in the advanced product.
All right, so with that, I'll go ahead and, there's a couple common use questions, that are sent to us regarding version 7, right? So one of them could be, will version 7 still be sold? The answer is yes, but we have stopped now developing on version 7, and the only license available is now Pro license. Now, another question that we get is, can you still call for technical support on version 7? Most definitely, that is a yes. But you gotta make sure that you have maintenance and support. And the last question is, can I upgrade from version 7? Certainly, most definitely, yes, once again. We actually created an import utility to help you go from version 7 to the new standard, interactive, and advanced products. All right, let's talk a little bit about 2018, what we have done in 2018, what Win911 did with the AVEVA Wonderware platform. So in 2018, there was product enhancements. We had 6 Win911 releases, and guess what? We had 14 pages of release notes. So meaning we worked pretty hard for you guys and make sure that the product was enhanced.
So today I hope to hit just the highlights of those. Certainly encourage everyone to hit the website, check out all of the changes we've made. But specifically today I wanted to cover sort of the high level, the high notes. So some general highlights first. We added support for multiple new SMS modems, mainly around LTE radios for different carriers worldwide. As carriers continue to expand and change their radio technologies, it's important for us to keep up and to add new offerings so that we continue to be a trusted, reliable source for SMS notification and don't fall behind. On the voice module, we added reconnect for disconnected TAPI modems. That includes TAPI modems that get physically disconnected, TAPI modems that perhaps got lost in a virtual environment, reclaimed by the host and came back, even if they moved COM ports. So the TAPI modems are certainly as reliable as they've ever been with the 2018 changes. And then improved call termination error handling for TAPI and VoIP. So if we have unexpected call drops or call failures of any kind, then we will optimize how we move on and get to the next phone call. That was a significant change we made to the voice module in 2018. On the email side of things, we increased our email support for MS Exchange and other servers. Those get kind of technical with some of the headers and HTML formats. But the bottom line is we increased the reliability of our email notification to go out to more servers and go out to more devices. We improved the performance and reduced memory usage, especially for burst of alarms at the dispatcher levels. So we can now handle larger bursts of activity and more complex strategies and tactics, larger call-out lists. One of the changes I wanted to call out specifically was improvements we made to the strategy for the voice module. So a lot of users coming from the version 7 product into the new product found that they received more voice calls than they really wanted. So in version 7, we would call you about the initial event. We would stop calling once it became acknowledged. With the new product, we allow those calls to go out, and re-notification makes that super simple. Re-notification is still very desirable for things like email and the mobile app, but when you come to voice notification, you don't necessarily want to receive all those phone calls. Some users do, some users don't. So we've made that a checkbox now. Suppress voice re-notifications on re-notify for inactive events and for acknowledged events. So you can still have your re-notification for things like email and for mobile, but you don't have to necessarily bite off the voice callback. You can suppress voice re-notifications.
So now what that means is that now you can only receive one single notification over voice without have to say, hey, I just received your notification over voice, correct?
Right. So if you're only interested in alarms that are active and getting calls about alarms that are active, you can still send out the inactivation or the fact that Bob acknowledged it via email with a simple re-notify, but you can check these boxes and no voice call will get made for inactive events or for acknowledged events.
Thanks.
In January of 2018, we unveiled the version 7 import utility. And this is a utility that's designed to give users making the leap from the version 7 products over to the new code base a huge leg up. So all of the connections, all those email addresses and phone numbers and SMS device numbers, the schedules that you had inside of version 7, the group organization that implied a call-out order, the various reports that you had configured, hundreds and hundreds of items in a specific order, all of that can be imported from the version 7 product. It's an offline import, so we work with the version 7 INI and MDB files that store the configuration for that product. If you happen to be running this import utility on the system where version 7 is installed, we'll find those intelligently. But if you're recommissioning a new system for the new product, you just need to capture that INI and MDB file. And then for specific sources, InTouch applications and tags can be imported from version 7, or the new product can be reconfigured with those new subscriptions that Arish talked about, where you're telling us I'm interested in high priority things, or I'm interested in just things from these areas or groups or this tag name syntax. That's going to allow for more dynamic information flow. It's going to reduce the memory consumption, and it's going to create for a faster sync up and lower maintenance experience. So there is some advantage to switching to subscriptions, and you have that option. You can keep all of your connections and schedules and groups and simply start over with the InTouch configuration. On the system platform side, we now have switched toolkits, and so we use subscriptions only. In version 7, we didn't offer subscriptions, and so the version 7 leaves the system platform configuration behind, again, bringing over all of your schedules, your groups, and so you're ready to define subscriptions and point them at the new strategies and tactics we've created from your version 7 groups.
So now customers and system integrators are able to use the version 7 import utility, or they can just start fresh, right, if
That's
necessarily.
True. That's true, yeah. This is an optional component. So if you feel like it's time for a fresh start and want to just start over with the new product, that's always an option as well.
Okay. And now when you download the new product, does the import utility comes with the software? That's
true, yeah. So it's actually included when you install the product. You'll install this version 7 import utility. It's there in the start menu. It has the same icon you see in the upper left of the slide. So just look for that in the start menu and get started.
All right, thanks.
Let's talk about heartbeats. So we added recently the idea of a heartbeat to both InTouch and system platform, so that users can have an easily accessible indicator of the connectivity status between Win911 and their SCADA on the SCADA side. And we call this function a heartbeat because it's intended to give you continuous insight into the vital signs of your alarm notification system.
So how did heartbeat came about? Was there anything similar to this in version 7?
In version 7, we offered what we called a health poke with some data sources. So InTouch, I believe, was one of those. So InTouch could do a health poke, and that's really where the idea came from, is that version 7 was able to write a changing value back to InTouch to make the InTouch operator aware of connectivity with Win911.
All right, thanks.
So heartbeats are similar to a watchdog. Watchdogs allow Win911 to generate alarms and perform notification out if no alarm activity is detected from the SCADA. And so we have this communication channel between Win911 and the SCADA package. If something stops flowing across that channel, then the idea is that we won't detect activity on a defined point, and that will set off a timer which will generate an alarm.
So tell me how a watchdog, an example how a customer could use a watchdog.
Sure. So a lot of users will set up watchdogs on a PLC clock, and they'll use that to monitor the connection all the way back to the PLC to make sure we've got a changing value that's coming in regularly. If we stop seeing that, then that's going to be indicative of some sort of communications failure. Other users will simply set up a single point, so something that's changing periodically within their SCADA system. And we will monitor that, look for those changes, and if we fail to see changes, then that's our indication that something's gone wrong. So a watchdog allows Win911 to create an alarm on its side and perform remote notification. The heartbeat is really a mirror of that. So Win911 is going to write values to a specified tag or attribute. And the SCADA can do the same thing then. If the SCADA sees no activity from Win911, it can take action. For example, it can restart Win911 processes, or it can activate a standby Win911 system, a hot backup system, or it can visually indicate that fault in the HMI so the operator can see that Win911's connection has been lost.
All right, how about if we do a live demo of these, so we can kind of see that. Give me one quick second here. Let's switch it up to the workspace. All right.
Sure.
So let's go ahead and let's start it from like where a customer comes in into Win911. What do they see?
Sure. So this is the Win911 Workspaces tool. You can launch this from the Start menu as well. And this is the online live configuration utility. Remember, it's runtime all the time, so as I make changes here, those are automatically relayed to the runtime. Here we've got everything about the sources grouped under alarming. And by SCADA type, system platform, we'll start here. In the Galaxy workspace where you configure connectivity with system platform, you can find that configuration for watchdogs and for heartbeats. So a watchdog side of things, we're really looking at a specific device name to monitor. So you just enter that device name exactly as it appears in the Galaxy. And you enter the area of that device exactly as it appears in the Galaxy. And then as we see activity on that particular point, we're going to reset this watchdog. If we don't reset it and this timeout has passed, so 90 seconds or 60 seconds, then we'll use this particular strategy, your default, in order to get the notification out that something's happened with our communications. On the heartbeat side, it's very similar. You enter the integer attribute that you'd like to write. So that does need to be an integer attribute. We're going to write a 0 through a 9, so 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 9 and back to 0, just a ramping value. You get to control the write intervals, so by default, that's every 1 minute we're going to be changing this. And you can also enable something we call a heartbeat suspension. So because of the system platform connection being sort of two-phase, we've got a alarm toolkit connection in for the alarm channel, and we have MX access that we're actually using to do this write for the data change. It's possible that you still have a healthy MX access connection, but not necessarily a healthy alarm query. And so you can enable this heartbeat suspension to basically monitor the alarm channel. And so you enter an attribute that will monitor for alarm activity, and in this case, we're looking for specific alarm activity on that point, like we do for a watchdog. If we fail to see that alarm activity, then we will suppress the heartbeat and we'll stop writing that data value. So you still have an indication back in the SCADA, not just of our ability to write a value like we offered with version 7, but really that channel is healthy, that we're able to see alarm activity as well as being able to write.
So let me see if I understand this. A heartbeat, what it does is if Win911 loses connection to a SCADA or the SCADA loses connection to Win911, that's what we use the heartbeat for? Yeah, we actually have both watchdogs and heartbeats for that. So you have watchdogs to get the notification out to operators, and you have heartbeats now to get the that information relayed to on-site operators in your HMI stream. And give me an example of how maybe a system integrator might use the heartbeat option if that connection goes down to alert the end customer. Sure. So the most common scenario is going to be for hot backup scenarios. And you're going to have two Win911 systems, one of which is in standby mode. And then this heartbeat is going to be coming from the active system. When the heartbeat stops, or should the heartbeat stop, then the SCADA can call activate EXE and activate that remote standby system to trigger the failover. How about if a system integrator wants to communicate to maybe a dialer, for example? Sure. Yeah, so because we're just relaying this information in the form of a changing integer,
really the possibilities are endless. You can do anything with that that you'd like to within the scripting of your SCADA, knowing that Win911 seems to have lost its connection because we're no longer writing a changing integer value. You can act upon that many different ways.
Great. How about InTouch? We talked about that in InTouch?
So InTouch, it's the application workspace. And again, this is the workspace you use to configure your connectivity with InTouch. You'll find the same sort of watchdog configuration screen. Here we're asking for the tag name to monitor, timeout, and strategy to use. And then heartbeat, again, we have the ability to enable a heartbeat. You specify an individual valid heartbeat tag name. We're going to write a 0 to 9 there according to the specified write interval. And likewise, we have the ability to enable the heartbeat suspension. So more than just the Health Foca version 7, we're able to watch for changing alarm communications. And then if we fail to see changing alarms, use that to suppress this heartbeat.
Thanks, Cody. I do appreciate you teaching us about the heartbeat and watchdogs. Let's go back to our presentation here then. Okay. So there are some other highlights that we want to talk about now, specifically in InTouch and going through all of the different SCADAs, right?
Right. So specifically on the InTouch side of things, we've added support for InTouch 2017, for 2017 Update 1, and for 2017 Update 2. So all of those rolled out over the calendar year 2018. And then we changed the way that InTouch runs to offer us a secondary hosting, that is as a Windows service. So for users that happen to be running the Wonderware InTouch product as a service, we now support that. And we have an alternate method of hosting that you can find in our help to run the Win911 InTouch runtime as a Windows service. Most people, 90% of InTouch users, are still going to be running us as an application because they're running the InTouch product as an application. But if they're running InTouch as a service, then we'll need to run as a service, and we now offer that. We've improved error handling, especially for unreachable nodes and for certain scenarios involving remote window viewer shutdowns. We also improved the import process. So again, we are still offering an import for reporting, and we've improved that dramatically with some search and filtering options so that you can more quickly and easily find the points that you're interested in and bring those into Win911. We made some changes around the way that Win911 connection names are used with acknowledgement. So we now retain those and use those to send out a notification to tell Bob, hey, Bob, Adam was the one that acknowledged this, Adam via Win911 voice. So that was an improvement over just using the Windows username that InTouch was running as. We added support for separate addresses for SweetLink and the alarm query. So Arish mentioned how we have these two different channels that we're using to talk to InTouch, both Alarm Toolkit and SweetLink. And in some cases, particularly terminal services environments, we found that SweetLink has a slightly different address. And so if you happen to be in one of those environments, we now have support for those separate addresses. And then one other thing to be aware of, if you're coming from a version earlier than 3.18.5, is that we simplified the subscription evaluation logic. So it's now simply anding those individual criteria together and ORing within a category. So we've simplified that and sort of made that universal across all of our data sources. So if you're coming from something earlier than version 3.18.5, that's important to be aware of. After you make that upgrade, you may want to revisit your logic and make sure you understand those changes.
Now, as a reminder, these are only the highlights. Remember, there is 14 pages that we did of changes, improvements into all of our SCADAs. So let's continue on to the next one.
So system platform, likewise, we added support for System Platform 2017, 2017 Update 1, and 2017 Update 2. The Win911 System Platform process now runs as a Windows service, so we moved away from an application to a Windows service, and that'll always work with System Platform. And then we offer some new ACK options to preserve the alarm comment, so you can join the alarm comment with the ACK comment or choose one or the other. And again, we simplified that subscription evaluation logic across the board, so if you're coming from something earlier than 3.18.5, that's important to be aware of.
So this is one of the things that I thought was very interesting, and maybe some of our customers might not know this. When we're talking about the alarm comment, right? As an example, the W911 sends a text to a customer saying that the
water tank has
the
gone
water
high.
tank has
Sure.
gone high. If somebody replies back to text, is that comment stays in W911 or does it go to the SCADA?
Right. So that's a user always has the ability to optionally add a comment at the time of acknowledgement, and we're allowed by the interface. We'll pass that all the way back into the SCADA. We'll certainly keep it on the Win911 side and relay that back out so that other Win911 users can see any comments that another Win911 operator happened to enter during the acknowledgement.
And I'm very excited for what 2019 has to offer here coming up. So we'll talk about that next. But next, let's talk about the last SCADA type, and it's going to be InTouch ME that was part of 2018 and now called InTouch Edge,
Right.
HMI.
So in May, we released our InTouch ME Direct Connect. At the time it was branded InTouch ME. So we're in the process of rebranding that InTouch Edge for our next release. But that is network capable. It supports multiple servers through the Win911 node licensing. And it supports the subscriptions that make it quick and easy to grab those alarms from InTouch Edge and bring them into Win911.
All right, let's talk about what's coming up in 2019. And we are very, very excited about what's coming up with Win911 Mobile. So coming soon, the beta is launching Q1. And here are some of the highlights of the new mobile app that Win911 will have. We have native UI to Apple and Android. We have security enhancements to the application itself. And there is going to be more alarm details. So let's actually take it one step forward. What else is coming up, right? You guys probably feel comfortable with the previous mobile app. What are some of the biggest changes that we have in this new Win911 mobile? And it really talks about the chat threads, team tracker, notification override. Cody, can you explain this a little bit to us?
Sure. So we've really tried to embrace the idea of empowering that team that's dealing with an alarm as it's unfolding, to communicate with one another, to share information. So we've created this dynamic chat room. So within the context of an individual alarm, you can see all the details. You can see its history as it went active, as it went inactive, as it changed state over time. And you can jump to the chat and you can communicate with other team members within that context. So an off-site operator that's perhaps more experienced can relay critical information to someone who's on-site and less experienced, or someone that knows that maintenance was ongoing but wasn't really sure of the details can ask a supervisor or another technician for clarity, all within that chat. We've also got a team tracker approach that lets a user see who else in the team has received notification about this alarm, who's been sent the notification, who's seen it and actually looked at it, who's perhaps in a do not disturb mode. And that's where the notification override comes in. A user is able to put themselves in an away mode to say, I'm in do not disturb mode for the next 1 hour or the next 30 minutes or until next Tuesday because I'm on vacation. And other team members can then see that, and it automatically resets when that time expires.
Excellent. This is very exciting. Tell me a little more of the insight on how does this new Win911 mobile will work?
Sure. So we've moved from a device-centric approach to a user-centric approach. So instead of an individual phone or an individual tablet being a connection, we're now login based. And so users can switch seamlessly between a tablet and a phone that they have the same login for. Those devices are connected up to the Win911 mobile cloud, which sits offsite up in the cloud. But all of the information is still coming from the Win911 side on premise. So all of that chat history, all of that logging is actually over in the Win911 and in that SQL server. All of the alarm details are there. The mobile cloud is really a simple pass-through proxy. We do aggregate across multiple sites, so a single app can log in and be a member of multiple Win91 sites. They can do requests against those sites. They can see all of the reports that are defined everywhere across those sites. And their summary window is going to be aggregating alarms from all of those sites.
So, one of the requests that I was getting from customers, from SIs is, hey, what happens if I have multiple sites? Now we are going to be able to actually view and see the multiple sites, correct?
That's right. Yeah. So if you've got 2 or 40 Win911 sites that a single operator needs to monitor, or if an integrator wants to pay attention to his customer sites, that's very easy with the new Win91 Mobile.
That's great. This is the next step. I'm looking forward to what's coming up.
So another point I wanted to mention with this slide is we've moved away from a inbound communication to an outbound initiated communication. So all of these Win91 sites are communicating only with the cloud. They don't communicate with a myriad of different apps. Instead, they're communicating only with the one cloud server. And those are outbound initiated communications. So there's no need to open up any firewall ports for anything inbound.
So does that mean that it's a lot more secure than before?
Yes. So that's a radical change to the architecture for the mobile platform that's going to bring about unprecedented levels of security.
Great. So you all might be asking yourself, how can I get inside of this mobile 911 beta, right? Well, we have a website for you. It's win911.com/products/mobile 911 beta program. And I'll actually walk you through how to get through that. You don't have to remember this link. But please be aware, if you're going to be participating on the beta, it is a beta program. So that doesn't mean that we're trying to figure out, what might be some of the bugs, how customers and system integrators might be using the new app, so we can continuously improve on it. So I just want to make sure that that's pretty clear, that you really are taking a step here to help out improve what the new actual Win911 product will look like, and is in beta program.
Sure. And to that point, we started our internal alpha back in December of last year, and our public alpha actually launched last week.
All right.
So that's live, and we look forward to launching this public beta. If you're interested in taking it for a spin, I certainly welcome you welcome your feedback and welcome all that we have to offer there. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Cody. I'll go ahead and take this one. Updates under test. In the last year, we talked about that we have done upgrades 1 and 2, right? So what's coming up next? System Platform has just recently released a version 2017 update 3. The same thing for InTouch, and actually InTouch Edge HMI just released the latest version. What was it? Within the last
week.
Last week. So all of that is coming up soon. That's a priority for us, as we know that a lot of customers are slowly moving into these new updates. We're working on doing that as well.
Right, and so these are actually under test as we speak. So far, so good on the System Platform and InTouch. So it looks like if that holds up, we'll be able to claim support for that with our current release, the 3.18.17 product. We haven't had to make any changes so far to add 2017 Update 3. We will need to make changes for the InTouch Edge Service Pack 3, and we received that toolkit from the Wonderware folks last week, so we hope to start on that soon.
Great. So we'll do some technical support and resources, and for that, I am going to do a quick switch. I am actually going to take you directly to our website so that I can show you that. So let's go back over here to the workspace, and I click Win911. So we'll go with that. So Win911.com. There is a couple different things that we have added to our website that I would love to share with you guys. One of them is the feedback form. So if you can see that on the top, it says feedback. If you click on that, we understand there is a lot of customers that would like to give us some feedback, right? How to improve our product. You know, we allow you to give you, if you're a customer, distributor, system integrator, potential partner, let us know which version of Win911 you're currently using, what SCADA, and feel free to write your feedback form right here. The next thing that I want to show you guys is under products. If you go to products and then build a quote, let's go ahead and click that. This is a build a quote website, what allows you to see the different pricing between standard, interactive, and advanced. So for pricing is 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. In below the pricing, you have a little description of what that looks like. But if you go ahead and do open comparison, it will open up a checklist of what are some of the differences. So let's do this really quickly. Standard is a one-way notification for email and text only with basic tactics and strategies, as you can show right here. Now, one of the biggest differences between us and anybody else out there is that we are unlimited alarms, unlimited filters, and unlimited users. So keep that in mind. Now, interactive, 3,000. What are some of the differences? We have two-way notification with text, email, voice. We give you 10 smartphone apps, which we talk about, and we're able to do remote acknowledgements, alarm requests, and report requests. And it shows right here, right? So for those people that are a little more visually based, this would allow you to see that. And also you are able to see the different SCADAs opportunities that we have available with direct connects. If we don't have it at direct connect, you can always use OPCDA. All right, let's talk about the advance. The advance is $4,000, and we kind of dive in depth on the PowerPoint, but this will give you all of the features that the interactive has, plus gives you advanced tactics and strategies, which Cody mentioned in the PowerPoint before, and it gives you 25 smartphone apps, meaning 15 more from interactive, and it's giving you the ability to push reports. So let's go ahead and select the advanced so we can walk through this tool. As soon as you select, you automatically get a pricing estimate on the right-hand side. In the left-hand side, you have choose your add-ons. You have notes for multiple SCADA applications. If you're using Factory Talk, you can add that on. You have 10 mobile apps. So after you have your 10 or 25, you're able to add more mobile apps. Remember, it's unlimited users. So you're able to buy a package of 10s. We'll also have the premium voice package. So a lot of the times, people, when they're getting a call from Win911, it sounds very robotic. You're able to use the premium voices for the language that we specified over here. So let's go ahead and click English. Now, tapping modem is a way for you to communicate when you only have a landline. So an analog line, you must have a tapping modem to be able to get your voice notifications. So let's go ahead and click on that. For texting, right, we highly recommend to always use a cellular modem. We have several to pick from here. The ones that we just added was the ones that have /net, which means Ethernet cellular modem. All right, so let's go ahead and choose the Verizon. From here, we have available hot backups in case that you need them. And then the maintenance and support agreement, we always want to add that. What you get for maintenance and support, you get availability to talk to our technical support. You're able to get all the free upgrades. You're able to transfer your license. So there is a lot of different things why we must have that. So just a quick recap, you're able to do that under products, build a quote, And then remember, on the right-hand side, you have your pricing estimate. With that, let's talk about a little more on the technical side. Let's go to resources and then how-to videos. With resources and how-to videos, what we have done here is set up a step-by-step how-to video of our new product. So we have the standard, interactive, and advanced. We have a general video of introducing you to the 3 different products, licenses. We also have an area where we have data source or SCADAs. So we can have system platforms, InTouch, etc. We have notifiers, how to set those notifiers up via email, mobile, reporting, and then the dispatchers, which is the roles and labels, schedulers we talked about, basic strategies and advanced strategies for anybody that is using the advanced Win911. We also talked about the version 7 import utility tool that is also located on the how-to videos. All right, let's get a little more in depth. How about if we want to hear and get more information on documentation? If you go to resources and documentation, you will be able to pull up all of the technical documents that you might need. One that I highly recommend is the system requirement. Anytime that you're going to be putting a new Win911, make sure you click on here and take a look at what are some of the requirements to the most updated version, right? Here below, it tells you which VoIPs we're able to communicate with, and it also tells you where are we on the SCADA compatibility. So as you can see right here, we have included Service Pack Update 1 and 2, Update 1 and 2 for InTouch and System Platform, and as we mentioned, Update 3 is coming up here in the near future. Let's go back to win911.com, and we talked about system requirement. How about knowledge base? If you go to support and then you click on knowledge base, that is also a different resource that we have available where you can type here a search of what you're looking for. We have selected these under generals, the standard, interactive, and advanced, licensing questions, installation, configuration, data source. Maybe perhaps you have an issue on troubleshooting, right? And then we also have some of our legacy version 7 information available. And the mobile 911, which is now going to become Win911 mobile in this here.
And all of that's freely accessible. So you notice it's not logged in the upper right there. We don't have a paywall to block this. This is a great resource to look for information about the product, about setting up hardware that we sell with the product. All of that can be found on our knowledge base.
And I know we have only 5 minutes left, so I want to make sure we gave you guys time to ask questions. But before that, anytime that you have a technical question and you need to create a support ticket, you can do under support and support desk. It would automatically take you to submit information to set up a ticket. It automatically sends you an email with a ticket number. Last but not least, let's go back to win911.com and show you where can you sign up for the beta mobile app. So if you go under products and you go to mobile 911, which is our current application of the product, you can scroll down and there's a sign up for the new Win911 beta program. You can sign up over here and you fill this information. Okay? Let's go back to Win911. And I promise this is the last thing that we're going to cover is how to download our 30-day free trial. And you can click it right as you come in here, try our free 30-day trial, or on the top, download a 30-day free trial. You fill this information and you'll be able to download it.